Hey cats, it's Ed, limited edition Bud here. Whenever I hear that term limited edition, I think, who's limiting it? Is it a manufacturer, the producer? The company have said, well, let's just put a few out just to excite people. If that is the case, why? People want to buy those running shoes and you're putting them out as limited edition things, but they're not really. We need to talk about that. Thanks for joining us here on EDDBUD Running Shoe Reviews. It's always appreciated. We're on the way towards 28,000 subscribers now. I can't believe we've got 27,000. That's just crazy. When I started this up, I never thought we'd have this many. Help us out if you haven't subscribed already by hitting that button and also clicking the bell below for notifications of when I roll the new videos out for you. It also helps out the channel a huge amount if you give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. Mucho gracias. Clearly some people really love those limited edition running shoes that come out, but are they being limited to generate hype or hysteria perhaps? Imagine, a Black Friday situation where people are queued up at the windows of a shop and they sort of break through and trample everybody. I can't see people leaping over barricades and fighting each other over shoes. That would just be really, really weird. You see pictures of people attacking each other to get like flat screen TVs, didn't you? I'd like to think that people aren't using like VPNs and technologies and stuff like that to get a hold of certain shoes, especially running shoes right now, but maybe they are. Maybe I'm just naive. Do you want the Nike Super Elite Pro 4 with the Silkworm 4D upper and the altered super glue traction because it's limited edition or because it's good? I began thinking about this one, guys, when I saw a new colorway was going to drop of the Saucony Endorphin Pro Plus. I distinctly remember them saying it's a once it's gone type situation with the Endorphin Pro Plus, but now we've got this blue and high-vis yellow variant that's set to drop. I wonder how many people picked the first version of that shoe up at the time thinking, wow, I've got one of just a few here, and now that's clearly not the case. I distinctly remember there was a once and done type situation with the Pro Plus. Even Start Fitness here in the UK have a couple of pairs of that shoe heavily discounted right now. I think it was about £220 retail and they've dropped it down to about 158. I mean, that's a massive fall from grace for what was supposed to be a limited edition shoe. A highly sought after, get it now while it's hot type of thing. I certainly don't need another Endorphin Pro shoe right now, so maybe you can get yourself a bargain if you get in there quick and your size is available. We obsessed over every material and stitch. Yet the Pro 1 came out back in mid-2020, right? And the midsole and the outsole remain the same, so I'm quite amazed they didn't think of using this upper material then. I can't believe it wasn't available. Both Nike and Adidas are the main culprits of this limited edition culture, but sadly lots of other companies are now jumping on the bandwagon too. Nike and Adidas deliberately release small numbers to artificially inflate the hype balloon, then drop additional colours with vastly more stock time and time again. Now, I can get that people dig a specific colourway. If you like the way a shoe looks, then that's a really good reason that you should go out and get it. If it's going to do a job for you, fantastic, no problem. One in particular might really light your fire. That might be a limited edition colourway. Great. But more often than not, it just turns out to be another opportunity to sell the same shoe to the same people. Just pumping out another shoe that's already in a very congested market right now. I see photos of people with racks of shoes, lots of repeat colorways of a model, like the Vaporfly Next Percent 2 for example. And I wonder, is that Nike's goal here, to try and sell the same shoe again to the same people? If that's the case, it's a really niche thing and it's not a everyday sort of thing. Most runners aren't doing that. They don't have a big rack of shoes and they wander over and, select one like that. They've probably got a small selection. It's the same as the Jordan 1 constant retro re-release, ensnaring the big fans to grab that new hot exclusive colourway. They got to get it the second it's out so they can complete the collection once again. Certainly think the Jordan 1s look a little bit better with jeans. What do you think, guys? In some ways you can see there's some mirroring going on between the sneaker market and the running shoe market. Brooks, it turns out, are one of the world leaders on limited edition shoes. Heading over to their website, they offer a huge range of colourways of the Ghost 14, the Levitate Stealth Fit, and even the Hyperion Tempo. What a great shoe. Not a lot of people know about that one. Quite a lot of the shoes there are really essential type daily shoes. Perhaps not for all though in those colourways. I guess it's a little bit down to how you perceive shoes in general. I don't mean like things you put on your foot or whatever, I mean the use of them. There's certain shoes that I really like wearing for casual sort of wear, you know, around the house, around town, whatever, around the pool table. But for me, with running shoes, it is down to function first. Aesthetics come second. I think with running shoes, it's always a bit of a compromise as to how they look. They're going to look slightly strange. You're going to have more midsole materials there, different types of upper materials. The profile of that upper isn't always going to be the most sort of aesthetically pleasing, especially if you've got a larger foot. Sometimes they can just end up looking like boats. There's going to be less padding in certain parts of the shoe, more padding in others. That isn't to say that running shoes have to be a total travesty in the looks department, but for me it will never be as important as the functionality. Running shoes take a total beating, don't they, when we use them for their intended purpose, so you're pretty much onto a loser right from the off, unless you're going to sit there with a toothbrush cleaning them after every session. And that just feels a bit odd to do that. At times, certain shoes have been made to look more limited than they really are on launch. I'm sure that's to try and drum up demand and excitement and hype about the shoe. Shoes like the Alphafly Next Nature, the Streetfly Prototype, and the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro all had some type of launch trickery. The Adidas shoe even had a draw that you had to enter to try and win the shoe, sort of raffle style. The shoe then dropped as a retail model a few months later. I don't think they made many of the first one, but it certainly caused a big stir. They kind of dropped it with very little fanfare whatsoever. The Alphafly Next Nature from Nike certainly seemed to be quite limited on its initial release, only for it to drop again literally last week. And it's at a cheaper price here in the UK as well. What's that all about? Maybe they saw my video on it. I'll put a card to that up here somewhere. I think in the US though, it's going to be even more pricey than it was on the original release at $350. Really? Is it that much more expensive to make? Up to this point at least, the limited edition or lower stock ploy has only been used by those top two brands, Nike and Adidas, and it's for the more niche top level running shoes. We haven't seen them use that for a more daily shoe yet. Nike at the end of the day know that the cash cow shoe is not the Vaporfly Next Percent or the Alphafly Next Percent, but the Pegasus. The cheaper everyday option, the do-it-all shoe that is the Nike Air Zoom Pegasus. Nike even state it's the daily shoe for any season. The trusted workhorse, which is of course returning very soon in the 39th edition. There's absolutely no need to make the shoe of the people a very hard to get hold of limited product. That still doesn't stop them launching it early as a sort of members exclusive. If you make your highest selling shoe very difficult to buy, then punters will keep their money in their pockets. Have you ever brought a limited edition shoe, people? Do you steer clear of those models and just go for the more readily available ones? Is it all just a marketing ploy and an interest generator? Let me know your thoughts and views down in the comments. Musical interlude time. Loads of new albums have come out recently or are coming out in the next few weeks. One such album is from Jack White. It's called Fear of the Dawn. I've had about 4 or 5 listens to this one now and I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing. Lots of fuzzy guitars here, almost sort of broken up and smashed into a million pieces. They're so distorted. Some driving drums and some really energetic vocal performances here from Jack White. He's certainly trying something different on this album. Nobody can ever say that he's just kind of sat in the groove and done the same thing album after album. In fact, I can't really say that there's a specific genre to this album. It leaps around all over the place. There's some dubby elements in there somewhere. There's even a little rap with the appearance of Q-Tip on track number 4, which is called Heidi Ho, which reminds me of a famous comedy over here in the UK. There's even some almost dubstep drum and bass, squelchy bass going on somewhere. I think it's in the track The White Raven. So be ready for some surprise here when you first listen to the album. Certainly when you look back to the early White Stripes albums and where they were coming from, this is in a completely new area, new territory. Go and check it out, guys. Fear of the Dawn by Jack White. Thanks for sticking with me to the end of today's video, guys. It is really appreciated. If you don't already do so, go and follow me on Instagram. There are links to that in the description. And you can also become a member of the channel, which has some extra perks for you. Again, links in the description. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you